Hello and welcome once again to the Maple Grove City Report. I'm Dave Kaiser from CCX Media along with Heidi Nelson, Maple Grove City Administrator. Welcome once again.
Thank you.
We have a meeting from a Tuesday to talk about because of the Martin Luther King Day holiday. It was held on the 21st. About 50 minutes long, half of the meeting to the police department and a big crowd. We'll tell you about that. But we want to talk first about a work session ahead of that. And maybe not the most appealing items to the public, but important for the council and the city to talk about. Tell us about some of those weighty topics ahead of time.
Yeah, so every couple of years we like to bring in our city attorney to talk about open meeting law and ethics in terms of what's in state statute, kind of around their role as a city council member. So it took about a half-hour time for our city attorney to review that information with the council before our regular meeting.
All right, on to the regular meeting then. A couple items pulled from consent and a nice item pulled to talk about some donations. As always, the police department helped out by the community in many ways. Tell us about these ways.
Yeah, so we really appreciate the support of the community, a lot of our community organizations and individuals as well. Support for our crime prevention program, the DARE program within our schools, and then of course for our K-9 program as well. So just we recognize those acceptance of those donations on our agenda once a year, and so this was part of that process.
Very good, and I'm sure ways to find out how you can donate are on the city's website, or you can always call the police department and probably find out ways that you can get involved. Speaking of the police department, they took center stage at the meeting with oath of office for a few new officers and some special recognition. Let's begin with the oath of office. We have a few new officers to talk about.
Yeah, 2 new officers. They've completed their FTO, so took the time to do a swearing in and invite their family in. It's a pretty special event for them as an officer, new officer, as well as for their family. So officers Dominic Bauta and Scott Long were sworn in, and really appreciate their service and look forward to their years on the department.
Very good. Welcome to them. And if they stuck around for a few minutes, which I bet they did, they have a chance to hear about some recognition for other officers. Tell us about the event and the recognition, why that was important.
Yeah, so we're recognizing the service and the actions of a few officers, Officer Jeff Albers, Dave Anton, Darren Struckman, and Adam Marinello, as well as Sergeant Dan Hammond. And this was related to an incident that occurred back in February of 2018, where we had an officer-involved shooting. But it was really a situation where we were responding to kind of a critical incident mental health situation, and our officers really took extraordinary efforts to try to diffuse and de-escalate the situation, deployed many tools in that process in terms of tasers, those kinds of things, before resulting, with one of the officers discharging their firearm, resulted in the individual was not lived through that incident, and so we wanted to recognize how our officers responded to that situation, the efforts that they took to really try to de-escalate that situation and reduce the harm in that incident. So really appreciate the officers Jeff Albers and Dave Anton were recognized with the Medal of Honor, and then officers Darren Struckman, Adam Marinello, and Sergeant Dan Hammond with the Medal of Commendation for their actions during that incident in February of 2018.
And to show that a lot of people care about this, I think the whole audience was full of their family members, neighbors, everyone that was associated, again, recognizing them for the great work they did, so congratulations to them. Moving on with the meeting from the 21st of January, we moved to public hearings. Quite a few took place. The first related to a restaurant that's been open, but making a little change. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so Grill Hall Churrascaria, located just kind of south in the southeast corner of Maple Grove off of 169 there. They had been in front of the council last year in the spring to get a 3-2 and wine license. This time they were transitioning to full liquor service, so on sale Sunday intoxicating liquor license. So they had to kind of go through the application process again, but that was approved by the council, so they'll have a full liquor license down there now.
That's one of 4 public hearings. The next 3 related to some housing developments and filling in, it looks like, some smaller areas in parts of the town. Take us through each of the 3 and what can people expect.
Yeah, so Howell Meadows, all 3 of these were projects that were down in this kind of the southwest corner of Maple Grove. Just get to my pages here. 10-lot subdivision for Howell Meadows. The Palisades at Nottingham is a 9-lot single-family development. and then the South Prominence development is about 19 single-family residential lots. So kind of smaller infill type projects, but this was the public hearing for their utility and street projects, so those will get kicked off this summer, and then you'll start to see some development in those areas. So these development projects have come through the process to get their, their planning approvals, but this is kind of the last piece then with regard to those development projects getting approved.
Watch for activity starting out in those areas. One item that was added to the agenda was a special recognition, a proclamation for the League of Women Voters.
Yes.
Give us a little background. What is happening? It's an exciting year for them.
It is. So this is the League of Women Voters, as was founded in 1920 after ratification of the 19th Amendment. So this is celebrating their centennial day on January 23rd, 2020. They are going to be having an event coming up tomorrow evening, Thursday, January 23rd at the Maple Grove Library at 6:30. I know you're going to be out taping that event, so that'll be nice. If you aren't able to get there, you can rewatch it on CCX Media. So we did a proclamation in honor of that centennial day, and so yeah, that was added to the agenda at the end there.
Congratulations, that group, very involved in the community. In fact, they've got the one coming up in Maple Grove on the 23rd, and then another in Brooklyn Park at their library on the 6th. So you can go to the League's website to find out more information about those events. Let's move ahead to some of the reports then from different areas within the city. Community development, always busy. We've got some grand openings coming up. Where and when?
So Burlington.
Or maybe where. We might not know when yet.
Yeah, exactly. Burlington is moving into the old Sports Authority space, so you might have formerly known them as the Burlington Coat Factory.
Right.
They've kind of changed their name to just Burlington now, so they're going to be opening up soon. We've received information that Wahlburgers is going to be opening in the middle of February. We don't have an official date for a grand opening on that one yet, but everybody's been waiting on that one to get open, so it looks like middle of February. And then the new Highland Bank, which is located kind of just kind of due north of Cub up there. It's that new kind of multi-tenant building. We do have a Caribou Coffee that's going to be in that same building with them. You'll notice if you drive around that or you come around that corner there, there's drive-through built into that building. So Caribou will be coming on probably a little bit later than Highland Bank.
Same drive-through for coffee and the bank, or two separate drive-throughs, I would guess.
Yeah,
that would be a new concept,
right? That would be a new concept. Would you like some coffee or some cash?
Yeah, there we go.
I'm not sure if the bank is doing a drive-through. I'm not sure about that. That's a good question.
All right, keep a look at that corner. And again, for Planning Commission coming up, a number of items that we've talked about quite a few times. So we've got a little break this time from a couple of the major projects, but it sounds like they're coming back. Tell us the three that are in the hopper.
Yeah, so we're going to have a busy February and March here through Planning Commission and through the City Council. Project 100, which of course is the land up behind the hospital, about 100 acres there. That project is going to be coming forward for concept level approval here, be in front of Planning Commission January 27th and moving on to the Council in February. Also Elm Road, so another residential development down in the southwest corner, one of the bigger, home to many larger lot single family homes today. Many have been purchased by Gagne Land Development Company, and they are proposing to kind of redevelop those sites into single family neighborhoods. So that'll be coming forward to the council. And then the markets at Rush Creek out by Hy-Vee, one of the outlots out in front of the store, is coming forward with a multi-tenant building. So lots of activity coming up in the coming months.
Very good. One final note from community development was an event coming up on the 28th with the I-94 Chamber, a chance for people to find out not only from Maple Grove staff, but other city staff of just what happens within cities. Tell us what's happening at that event. Yeah, so I-94 West Chamber of Commerce is going to be hosting a State of the City event, and broad I-94 West is a kind of a big territory for a chamber, and so a number of the cities will be participating in a panel just to kind of talk what's going on with business and growth and that kind of thing. So yeah, January 28th, that's over the noon hour up at Rockwoods and at Siegel. Very good. Public Works now, report from the meeting on the 21st. We had a chance to hear about the mayor is going to be extra busy with a new responsibility, and Ken Ashfeld said this is a nice tie-in for the city. It is. Give us a little background on that. Yeah, so the mayor applied for and was appointed to the Transportation Advisory Board, which is a group that advises the Met Council on transportation funding issues and really is involved with how funding is allocated in the metro area here. So a very important role, important appointment for the mayor and important for the city. I think it's
it's good timing for kind of putting a fine point and some focus on our transportation needs up here in the Northwest Metro. So congratulations to the mayor. This adds another thing to his already very full plate, but we know that his advocacy certainly will help us move some of our issues forward up here in the Northwest Metro.
As more comes available on that, we will let you know. Let's talk about one other transportation item. Out on County 101, people might have noticed, again, as development moves ahead, some need to maybe look at an area, and the city's doing this. Tell us about that. With the county, I understand.
Yeah. So we've been, advocating for the county investment up here on some of our county roads, and so we are looking at doing a project really kind of from where Lord of Life picks up and then up to 78th there, north of Lord of Life. That would make that more kind of a, an urban section of a road, kind of similar to what's been done to the south in and around 101 and Bass Lake Road. It would also provide for some pedestrian connections with trails, those kinds of things, which we need out there right now. We're building a number of housing units, and now we've got the commercial attractions with Hy-Vee, so wanting to make those connections put in place. So I'm going to be working with the county on that over the next coming months here, and hopefully we can get a project in place in the next couple years to make those improvements.
Very good.
Yep.
Final note from the meeting on the 21st, you had a couple items you touched on. We'll touch on those in a second in some of the city updates, but one we want to mention here is on February 29th, there is a every 2-year event happening. What is coming up?
Yeah, so every 2 years we take the opportunity to sit down with the council and our directors team and do kind of a planning session, really talk about kind of where we're at as a city, what we think the challenges and opportunities are going to be in the next 3 to 5 years, and from that really develop some goals and things that we want to focus on in the next 2-year period. So February 29th will be that day. It's always a really good day to sit and kind of understand what we're dealing with and what the challenges will be, and so we're looking forward to that.
So when we get back together in early March, we'll try to give you some insight on what happened there. So that's the report from the meeting. We've got the next meeting coming up in early February. We'll give you that date in just a second. Let's move ahead to some other items happening in the city, and we begin with a couple items related to the fire department. First, new firefighters.
Yeah, so we have our 2020 recruit class, 13 new members joining the fire department. So we're really pleased about that. As you know, we're a large department and we're maintaining that paid on call program, and so this was a strong recruitment class, and so we're really happy about that. Of the 13, 2 of those are experienced firefighters currently with other departments, so they have a little bit of a different training track that they have to go through, a little bit less depending on where they're coming from. So we will have 11 of them begin their formal firefighter training. They complete about 500 hours of training between now and early June, and then hopefully you'll see them at a council meeting sometime in July to swear them in after they've completed that training process.
All right, exciting times in the fire department. Another point they want to make is about fire safety programs. So lots of opportunities here to get some training and to learn some new things. How does this work?
Yeah, so our Maple Grove Fire Prevention Program offers a variety of programs for residents, different organizations, scouts, businesses related to fire safety. I think one important thing is our senior smoke alarm check program. We've had a couple difficult fires as of recent. We had I think the first fatal fire in Maple Grove's history, which was really unfortunate. And so we just, we want to ask people to kind of pay attention to what's going on in their neighborhood, and if they see a senior, particularly somebody who might live alone, do some outreach and see if they might need help making that contact with the fire department to see if they could come out and either install smoke alarms or check on those smoke alarms. Some folks might not have the capacity to do that or have access to this kind of information. And so we just want to maybe, encourage neighbors to think about those that are living around them. And then seniors in general, please reach out, and our fire department would be happy to come out and take a look at your smoke alarms and make sure that things are working properly. So our fire prevention, 494-6099. They also have a Facebook page if you're into that. So that talks about a lot of the programs, and we just encourage people people to reach out, especially during this time of the year where we have a lot of fire risk in the community.
All right, one other tidbit from the fire department that's not really appropriate for this time of the year, maybe later in the year, but this is the time of year to take action.
Yeah.
This is about burning outside in the backyard. If you're having even the smallest of little marshmallow roast, what do I need to do?
Yeah, so we do have a recreational fire permit. They are free. Our intention with this is to provide education and let people know kind of what the guidelines are for fires in the backyard, for recreational fires. So on our website, you can tap into that, get a permit, provides you some education and guidelines, try to avoid some of those conflicts with neighbors when things get a little bit out of hand. And they do expire every year on December 31st. So really easy to go online and get signed up.
Perfect. All right, the couple items that we mentioned earlier that Heidi said during the council meeting, here they come. First is the State of the City event, a little bit of a new twist this year, and again, it's a free event for people to attend. Give us some of those details.
Yeah, so Friday, February 28th, 7:30 a.m. at the Maple Grove Community Center. We do registration on Eventbrite, so if you search for Maple Grove State of the City address, that event will pop up, and we just want to know that you're coming, so we have a good count. Focused on, bringing in business community leaders and then citizens just to get an update about what's going on in the city and kind of what we're expecting for the year 2020 ahead.
Good.
Yep.
Please do attend if you can. It is the year of the election in the city of Maple Grove. A lot going on, and it started now with the presidential primary process.
Yeah.
Give us the early information. How is it going? How are things set up at the city to help people out? Yeah,
so we started absentee voting for the presidential nominating primary last Friday, the 17th, and we've already had a number of folks in, quite a few folks in to vote. So we're available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. for that absentee voting. It is on the second floor of the Government Center, and it'll be up there for this entire this election year. We have it set up there, and it won't. Last year we moved things around a little bit. We're going to stay on that second floor of the Government Center, so it'll be consistent for folks. A couple things with this presidential nominating primary that are a little bit different that folks might be surprised about is when you come to vote, you have to declare a party, and you have to pick that ballot, and you have to register, basically kind of registration.
Right.
And so, folks might not be aware of that, and so we've prepared some information kind of as you're walking up to get prepared to vote to try to, help everybody kind of be informed about what that process is and what's required under Minnesota state law. So our election judges are there ready to help you, and we will, we're doing this 3 times this year. We're doing it for the presidential nominating primary, then we'll have the regular primary in August, and then the general in November. And with that, with 3 elections, we have a big need for election judges. So if you might consider, serving this year, we'd really love to hear from you. You can contact our city clerk's office and get the information about how to apply. Some of that information is available on our website as well. So it's going to be a busy election here in Maple Grove.
For those judges, really good training happens, so I don't need to come in with election experience or lots of qualifications, just the willingness to help and the time availability. Is that correct?
That's correct. We provide all the training, and we do that in conjunction with Hennepin County. So we really do, set you up for success and get you the information that you need to be an election judge.
All right, if you can, step forward and help out. We mentioned the League of Women Voters earlier, the event they have coming up, but there's a display as well that goes along with this, and that's going to be up for a while. Tell us how that is working. Yeah,
so they'll have a special exhibit on display at the Maple Grove Library until February 5th. The display highlights the history of working for voters' rights and encouraging involvement, as well as how the organization is kind of preparing for the future of the election process.
All right. We'll end with a few events coming up here, so get your calendars out. 2 that are going to get you cold, 1 that is inside and helping lots of people. Cold number 1, and we mean really cold. This is the Polar Plunge. When and where does it happen? And I understand one of the council members is taking the plunge again.
She is, yes. So Saturday, February 1st, they'll be out at Fish Lake Park again. This is supporting Minnesota Special Olympics, and our police department is very engaged with this. So a lot of our officers participate in this jump as well. Ambassadors will be out there that day. So Saturday, February 1st, I think it starts at 1 o'clock out there, and yes, Councilmember Judy Hansen is committed to jumping again. I think she's jumped the last 3 or 4 years, so she's a brave soul to be doing that.
I think she said with the SWAT team this time, so she's in great company of people to jump in with.
If anything goes wrong.
Let's move ahead the next week then on Saturday, February 8th. It's time for the Wonders of Winter event.
Yes.
This has some great tradition in the city of Maple Grove. What's happening this year?
Yeah, so this is kind of our winter celebration, Saturday, February 8th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. over at Central Park in Maple Grove. We have ice skating, ice sculpture. The Maple Grove Skating School comes and does a special ice skating performance. We have the Fat Tire bike demo, kick sledding and snowshoeing. Three Rivers Park District is out doing that. The Lions Club sponsors wagon rides and some different kids activities. And then we have s'mores and hot cocoa from a couple local businesses. So it's a really fun day to come out and enjoy the winter.
And can't beat a day at Central Park in Maple Grove, so
Yep.
make sure you get out there. All right, since you're cold after those two, let's warm you up a little inside and warm in your heart too of helping people out.
Yep.
This is something the city has been involved in. How does this food packing event work?
Yeah, so this is Feed My Starving Children. About 6,000 volunteers are needed for this. So the goal is to pack 1.2 million meals, and it's a time frame between February 19th and February 23rd. Egan Company's up on 169 in Champlin, opens up some of their warehouse space. It works out really great. It's a great space to go and do this kind of as a temporary, packing facility for Feed My Starving Children. So you can sign up on the Feed My Starving Children website. FMSC.org, pretty easy to get there. So we encourage residents from Maple Grove and the Northwest Metro to get out and participate.
And maybe too some businesses and organizations in town. Nice challenge for businesses to say, hey, we can have 10 people there. How about you get 10 people there? Or churches, I'm sure, as well, are very tied in through Feed My Starving Children. So go to that site and see if you can find out more and stop in and volunteer. That is it for the meeting on the 21st and what's new in town. Heidi, thank you very much for the information. Let's leave you with the next date. It is coming up on Monday, February 3rd is the next council meeting, 7:30 at the Government Center. Phone number, as you see at the bottom of the screen. And all the information that we mentioned with some of those dates, particulars about ways to get involved up at the top, maplegrovemn.gov. Viewer response line is 533-1710. Any questions or comments, certainly contact us. For Heidi Nelson, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us.